Let's now zero down to the challenges facing farmers and what they really want government to do in addressing their challenges. Dr. Charles Nyaba is the head of programs and advocacy at the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Edward Karewa, who will be joining us shortly, is the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAU, and Francis Dansweje is Content Manager at Isoko Limited. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for your time. Let me start with you, Charles Nyaba. Before today, you had outlined a number of issues facing your people. Today, listening to the President, the Agric Minister, are you satisfied with measures taken so far?
Good afternoon, Aisha, and let me also congratulate all farmers, the awardees. I'm now on my way from Cape Coast back to Accra. But if you permit me, I'll just run some short commentary on my observation about the award system, which we are not happy of before we come to the challenge. I've just observed one thing. We realize that the award system has been skewed in favor of just a few farmers, about 3 of them. You know, if you look at the selection criteria, we have regional best awardees and then the national best awardees. The regional best awardees were all potential national best awardees, except that they were all in the race, and then the zero, those who could not get the overall best to regional best. Now you do that and then give all the awards to only 3 persons. I say this because the overall national best farmer is given 600,000 Ghana cedis with a house of his choice to be built for him in any place. He also have an opportunity to go to Israel. And then you look at the overall regional best farmers, they are giving them tricycle, knapsack sprayer, and assorted agrochemicals without a peso, even 1,000 to take home. Meanwhile, these were people who were competing together. So we thought that even looking at the decentralization agenda that we are running, it should be possible for them to have allowed the regional awardees to be done at the regional level. Now we are all situated in the Cape Coast here. You go to the various regions and nothing is happening. People come there and this is what you are giving them as a take home. I've spoken to a number of them and they are so disappointed with what they are getting. So we think it's something that we want the award committees to take a critical look at, because you can't accumulate everything and give to 3 people and the rest of the contenders are going home with nothing. You look at the first best, the first runner-up. The person is getting a Navara pickup, is getting 200,000 Ghana cedis and other items. But these people are not getting that much. So that is our first observation that we think that we all need to look at in going forward. Now, let me now come to your question about what the Agri Minister and then the President said concerning the challenges and things that will be done to improve the sector. You know, if you listen to the President carefully, you realize that the proposals that were captured in the budget was what was read. And we have earlier on the ground commentaries on those proposals, which we think that this year what proposed in the budget is not bad, provided budget allocation will be made for those proposals. What are those things that we've been talking about? We keep talking about climate change, which is associated with limited rainfall and then unstable rainfall patterns. Now, the President will put emphasis the fact that they were going to improve on the one village, one dam. They were going to construct more irrigation facilities. So we think that is commendable. Bring in more mechanization centers and then allow farmers to manage it. So if money is actually allocated budget to see to the execution of that, I think that is okay. Issue of fertilizer came up, and then he also indicated that proposed in the 2022 budget.
Now, when I spoke with you yesterday, you spoke about the fact that you needed government to work on its One Village, One Dam project. You also spoke about the fact that...
Yeah, so yeah, like we said, the government started with the One Village, One Dam, and then I think it wasn't properly executed. So after the election, last year it was not in the budget, but it was captured this year in the budget. That we hope it will be done, because one of the major constraints that when you travel across the packaging and exporting, because that's where you are creating jobs for your people. That's where you are getting value for what is actually produced. But looking at the planning for food and jobs, they focus it on, I said, we have 5 pillars. All these 5 pillars are only addressing production, because we talk about the fertilizer pillar, we talk about the seed pillar, we talk about e-extension, you talk about the marketing, and then you talk about e-agriculture. All these ones are not addressing value addition. You know, they are not addressing processing. They are not addressing proper packaging. So in going forward, for us to make meaningful progress, we need to be thinking of how we will address the other challenges along the entire value chain. Now, there is also what we call ready for food and jobs.
Okay.
But when you look at government budget and the focus over the years has been on only the crop subsector. Meanwhile, we have potential to also improve on our livestock subsector, especially the local livestock like goat, sheep, cattle. Because even if you are talking of livestock, they are only talking about the intensive rearing of poultry, which we are not also doing well. So we think that we need to also diversify, because in the midst of climate change, when rain fails, you may lose everything that has to do with crop. But when rain fails and you still have enough, you have livestock, you have cattle, you have sheep and other things, you can still depend on that. So we are looking at instances where resources are also allocated equally as we are doing for planning for food and jobs, or that of the ready for food and jobs.
Let me bring in Edward Kariwa here. Edward, you have over the period lamented over the plight of farmers in this country. Today, the president has been assuring of measures to deal with these challenges. First, let's understand the extent of the challenges that farmers face. Then we can access the president's assurances.
Well, it is common knowledge, it's public knowledge about the challenges that farmers face in this country. The challenges, vary from production to post-harvest losses and then to marketing. And if you look at the production level, there's a range of challenges.
All right, so
inputs
we're having a bit of a challenge with Edward Kariwa's internet. Edward, are you back? Okay, so we'll try and fix Edward Kariwa's line, and then we can hear exactly what he wants to say. But Francis, your outfit has been conducting research on food prices and food security. A few weeks ago, we lamented over hikes in food prices. Has the situation changed? Francis, kindly unmute for me. Hello, Francis. Kindly unmute for me so we can have a conversation. Francis, kindly put your audio on so we can hear what you're saying. If Edward Kariwa is back on the line, Edward, let's hear the issues affecting farmers, which you want government to address, especially as we enter 2022. All right, so we'll try and fix both lines. Let me go back to Charles Nyaba, who is joining us, who is on his way to Accra from Cape Coast. Charles, I'm happy that you spoke about implementation, because definitely you would present these recommendations that are beautifully put together, but usually it's the execution that becomes a problem. How do you intend to ensure that government do actually implement your recommendations to help deal with the challenges facing farmers?
Yeah, so government always talk about evidence, and they talk about the engagement. So after post-budget, we have spoken some key government persons who indicated that we should submit a formal position paper. Before the budget was developed, we actually got an email from the finance minister himself to us to submit our inputs. And then we realized that most of the issues that we raised were just listed in place in the budget. So what we want to do is to actually, we have a team made of farmers, university lecturers, and other think tanks who are trying to put this together. Now that the Farmers' Day is over, we will be submitting same to the Agri Ministry and that of the Finance Ministry. We also follow up with engagements to try to dialogue to see how best they will consider the recommendations that we are making. And then we are hopeful that if those are considered, since they were captured in the budget and then are reiterated in the Farmers' Day, maybe something positive will come out.
For your time, Charles Nyaba. He is the head of programs and advocacy for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. We'll take a break on the Pulse. It's still Farmers' Day edition of the Pulse. Of course, a lot of the farmers have been recognized and they've been giving awards at the events in Cape Coast. Our man, Kojo Nyakon, has been monitoring events for us. We'll have him join us shortly and we'll be telling you more about who won what at the event. Stay with me on the Pulse. And we're back with Edward Kariwe, who is the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAO. Edward, earlier the internet won't allow us to make your point. Now you're back. Tell me about the issues the farmers are raising as we celebrate farmers today.
Hello?
So, make the point you were making earlier about the challenges facing farmers.
Yes, I'm saying that when it comes to the challenges, they are well known to all of us. We can continue to recount them, but then we know that if we look at them at production level, there are a myriad of problems. It comes to post-harvest losses, myriad of challenges, and then marketing. Now, we have not been able to address all these challenges because some of the challenges are just a mere organization of policy. You know, when the policy is properly framed, they will fall in line. For instance, we are talking about credit to farmers. To what extent have we actually worked with the financial institutions to be able to give credit to farmers? We are still stuck with the old orthodox measures, demands by the banks that you must provide collateral before you get loans from them. And you cannot apply that to farmers too, particularly the type of farmers we are dealing with. So we have not been able to fashion out a workable credit system for farmers, whereby farmers can on their own deal with the financial institutions to take credit. Technology is just still a problem. We have not been able to bring into place the type of technology that can actually create a conducive environment, a decent environment for farmers to be there. We are talking about encouraging the youth to go into farming, but you don't just encourage the youth to go into farming by merely giving them money and so on. It is market predictability, and then also about whether when they move to their farms, will they still be able to communicate with the rest of the world? Internet must be there, and then they must also be able to link with the rest of the world. So these are clear modern day challenges which we are not fixing, yet we think that agriculture can be modernized by mere fact that we have brought tractors, we have brought combined harvesters, and that is enough.
Let me bring in Francis, who we lost earlier too. Francis, we've been talking about food security. Indeed, the president has been mentioning that, and he says it's critical to sustaining agriculture and feeding the entire populace. Now, your outfit has been doing a lot of research into price hikes and food security. First, let's talk about the price hikes, because some time ago we were complaining about how the prices of food has gone up. How is the situation now? Has it changed?
Thank you. And I want to take the opportunity to wish farmers a happy Farmers Day. In terms of the prices, as stated earlier in our releases, we are in the period where we are expecting prices to drop. And as you can see currently, there have been some slight decreases in the prices that we are seeing on the market. And so it's a normal trend that we see every year because we have harvested. You see that prices are a little lower than what we were experiencing some few weeks and months ago.
What would it take if we really want to attain food security? Because the president has been going deep on this one. What would it take for us to attain the status?
I think we need to do three major things. One, we need to look at storage. Storage, what I mean is that when we harvest, how do we store the produce that comes out? So that in the periods where we are not harvesting, in the lean season, so we bring them onto the market. Two will be the technology that we use. What are the current technology modes of farming and technology that we are using? Is it sustainable in the phase that we are looking at climate change and all that? We need to have that one also addressed. And then the third one will be making sure that we have enough financing also going into the sector to help those in the sector access fund to expand what they are doing and get the latest technology and also improve what they are doing. These are the things that when we do year in, year out, we are assured that we'll be able to maintain the prices and prices not skyrocketing at some point within the year.
Edward Karewa, what do you want to see as we get into 2022? What do you want to see in addressing the issues affecting farmers?
Well, if you take just for 2021 alone, the immediate problems we had was a lack of fertilizer at the time that it was most needed. That must be addressed adequately in 2022. We should not wait until the farming season is in, and then we are now looking for fertilizer. And that one was a mere policy failure, because if they had paid the suppliers of fertilizer, they would not have withheld supplies during the season. So that must be adequately addressed. Then two, government also made us to understand that fertilizer smuggling has taken a very dramatic
All right,
turn. Donkeys are now conveying the fertilizer. It's worrying that and foreign exchange to import fertilizer only for it to be smuggled out, and we don't do anything about it. So they must make sure that fertilizer smuggling is reduced to the barest level next year. And then apart from that, there was a claim that it is because we over-exported. That's why we had shortage of maize in the system during the lean season. If that is the case, then of course the exports must be constrained, because the essence of our engaging in the planning for food and jobs and agricultural production is first and foremost to feed ourselves and our industries. Until that is done, there's no need to export what you yourself need. So exports must be constrained to ensure that food is retained in the country for us to use. And then finally, is to say that whilst you are encouraging agricultural production, then you must also ensure that you don't allow cheaper imports to come and undermine the domestic producers or drive them out of their immediate market. That is the internal market. So immediately, these measures can be put in place. And when they are put in place, we believe adequately that the situation in 2022 will be better than 2021.
I'm grateful for your time. Edward Kariwa is General Secretary of GAU. Francis Danso is with Isoko, and they've been explaining to us the things we must do to better agriculture in the coming years.